First drivers to drop in 2025, none other than the Callaway Elytes. Now, as always, if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, like this video if you find it whatsoever helpful, and drop us a comment on what you think is going to be the best driver of 2025. Now, shout out to Scottsdale channel partners. They have sent me out all of the new Callaway Elytes to put through their paces on this winter December day. You'll be seeing this at the start of January. As always, they have got the Elyte, which is the standard version. They have got the Elyte X, which is the max version. And then Callaway's signature triple diamond is also in this Elyte setup. All three heads come in right and left-handed. A lot of the lefties will be happy to know. The standard and the X come in 9, 10.5 and 12 degrees. The triple diamond comes in 8, 9 and 10.5. So if you need someone who needs a little bit of high loft, high launch, just bear in mind the triple diamond doesn't come in at 12 degrees. But I'm over at the Warren Golf Club. I'm going to put these clubs through their paces. Probably not going to hit a lot of the triple diamonds. Going to focus more towards the standard and the X Elyte. There's some good points on these. There's some, unfortunate for Callaway, in my professional opinion, there's some bad points with these as well. You might have picked up on it straight away by looking here, but there's a lot to unpack with these. Let's get warm, let's get loose. I haven't hit any balls today, and let's see what these are all about, shall we? You know I've gone for the X model. This is the most forgiving. This is going to help me launch the ball. It's the biggest head, it's the biggest footprint, the most amount of spin, Callaway say. This is the one you want on a December morning on the first tee. See if you can notice the first thing I'm going to talk about after I've hit this shot. Use your ears. I'll have that. Straight down the middle. And I've come to this golf course to do this on purpose because of all of the trees around the area. I'll hit one more. Listen to the sound of this driver, and then I'm going to get into what is new with the Callaway Elyte. Oh, that's caught the lip of the tree. It is fairway though. Right, what is new in these clubs? So the first glaring difference for me, obviously looks, which I'm going to touch on in a minute, but it's the sound. I feel like the Callaway Elyte, out of all of the new drivers that are coming out in 2025, obviously you'll see those reviews start to be leaked out on YouTube over the next week or two. The Elyte is by far the loudest, most aggressive, most old school sounding driver. It cracks off of the face, like it rips off of the face, and I'm a big fan of that. Over the years, drivers have got more and more dull, more muted, and we've lost that old school bang when you rip one out the middle. You smash it into the trees, obviously it still sounds like it's hitting a tree, but when you catch that Elyte right out the middle and you get that big loud scream, I love that about a driver. It seems like Callaway's brought that back a little bit. But unfortunately, as quickly as I'm going to give Callaway praise for the sound of their driver, I'm going to have to knock them down some points for the looks. Because for me last year, the AI Smoke was the best driver to be brought out, the best wood range actually to be brought out. I thought it trumped all of the other brands, and they sat top of the castle with the colour scheme, with the sort of forged carbon on the top, the metallic-y silver. I think everything about it just looked brilliant. Fast forward a year, I think they've brought out the ugliest driver of 2025. It's given me big, great big Bertha, epic vibes, but probably not as good looking. So whilst we're on the topic of looks, should we have a little peek at all three Callaway heads available this year in the Elyte range? Starting off with the X. As I alluded to earlier, this is the most forgiving version of the Elyte that you can get. It's going to promote some high launch. What I do like is you get the neutral and draw setting at the back of the club, so it's a 13-gram movable weight, and that's nice to have in the most friendly, player forgiving version. To have that adjustability, I think is a good touch from Callaway. You've got a matte crown on top, which is shared with the standard, but it is not shared with the LS. The LS goes into a gloss crown, and you've got the Callaway chevron in the top middle of it. The Elyte is the standard version. This is, again, 460cc, but a tiny bit smaller footprint as you're looking down on it. Neutral draw and fade options in this, so you just get one more option than you do in the X. Same 13-gram adjustable weight and the same matte crown. For those absolute rip dog millionaires out there who want to go into the triple diamond version, you must find the middle of the face over and over again. The game's just so enjoyable if you could do that. You are getting a 450cc head. This is obviously the tour version, much smaller footprint, front and back weights for more stability or to reduce the spin on the club. And as I alluded to, a gloss carbon crown rather than a matte carbon crown, and you lose the little chevron lineup thing This on the triple diamond is all gloss black, which you've seen, and you lose the chevron. Enough talking, let's get hitting around this golf course, shall we? Let's just run a little B-roll montage of me just ripping this thing around this course. Get on that for a strike, by the way. Still found middle fairway, it's forgiving. That's more of the strike we're looking for. It does feel rip dog off the middle of the face, like super fast. I don't know if it feels any faster than what the AI Smoke felt like. And I'm going to jump into the tech now, what Callaway have said they've improved with this new range for 2025. And with that whole AI smart face 10 times, come with me, let's have a chat about it. So this year in the Elite, we're getting a new aerodynamically shaped driver. Therefore meaning a little bit more ball speed, a little bit more club speed, hopefully increasing everyone's distances. Now, it's not just Callaway, we hear that from every single manufacturer, and I think we've actually heard that from every single new release of club this year. And I suppose they are working on the aerodynamics. Everyone wants to try and make their clubs faster, faster equals longer, longer is the new in fashion thing in golf. So it's improved aerodynamics. It has an all new thermo-forged crown. Couldn't exactly tell you what that is, but it's an improved crown on the Callaway Elyte, and that's across all three models, the X, the Standard, and the Triple Diamond. It's aerospace grade carbon fiber used in the club. I think the first time we heard that was with the Titleist TSR, I believe, with the 520 carbon steel, which they use on aeroplanes. Anyway, we've got aerospace carbon in the Elite family as well. On the topic of that 10 times AI smart face, remember that on the AI Smoke where you had the graphic and it said, it had loads of different points across the face. It had like some right in the toe, some right in the heel in the middle, and it would give you like the yardage gain or the least amount it would drop off. I can't even remember what one it was, but it had loads of numbers across the face. Obviously the sweet spot being add 20 yards, high toe was add 18 yards, low heel was only adding 8 yards. Well, Callaway are saying they've added a further 10 hotspots to this AI face. I don't know how that's possible. It was already crammed in the first place. To me, this whole AI face thing seems a little bit like your mate's playing around a golf on his own. He makes a hole in one. No one's there to see it. So when you're back in the pub, he goes to you, you're just gonna have to take my word for it, because there's no way to tell if they're telling the truth or not. There's no way without robot testing, we can tell that if you hit it on this face and exactly where you're hitting on this face, what that is giving you. So I'm not a big believer of the whole AI face technology, but with that being said, I do think this is a very good driver. Now I headed over to Golf One simulator over in Southend to try and get some numbers on this on their Trackman, and they were good. I'm gonna start with the Triple Diamond just because I wanna reenact that on the first tee, no warm-up kind of a scenario. So I'll start with that, I'll go into the Standard, then I'll go into the most forgiving version, the Elite X. See how they get on then. Right, that's 5 with the Triple Diamond, 296 average, pretty good. A touch on the low spin side, which would be expected really. Averaging at about 2,000 spin, 1,900 spin. I hit a couple of them out of the toe, but it actually performed pretty well. I didn't find it incredibly hard to hit, and believe it or not, that was the first 5 swings. And it's actually done really well there. So let's see how the Standard does, then we'll move into the Max. That was awful. All right, standard version there. 5 hit, a little bit more erratic than the triple diamond, but that's probably user error. Well, it's definitely user error actually. But it was spinning in a much nicer window, as you'd expect, 2,400. Average carry 294 compared to the 297 in the triple diamond, sorry, total distance. Much friendlier footprint behind the ball. Not going any longer than I would expect a previous model driver to go. Not going any shorter. I definitely hit them all over the face there and it performed pretty well. That's probably the biggest takeaway from this. I hit some right out of the hill, and I mean right out of the hill. You'd have seen it on the impact video, and it stayed in play, which is good. And that's not even the most forgiving version. So let's go into the max head now. Now we're talking. That there is money. That is a money golf shot. Right, that is all 3 of them hit now. The X, the most forgiving, the standard, and the triple diamond. Numbers are good. Averages at about 285, 290 carry, about 305-ish total across all of the golf clubs. Definitely easier to hit the X and the standard compared to the triple diamond. I was hitting it a little bit erratic, as you can see there. Wasn't exactly hitting it out of the middle, but that's good for the test, I suppose. It performed pretty well. Most of them stayed in that 30-yard-ish fairway we've got set out there. Would I say they're easier to hit than the AI Smokes? Let's get back to the golf course to discuss that a little bit further, shall we? But numbers are pretty good. There's a lot I like about this club. Genuinely, there is a lot I do like about this club. I love the way that it sits behind the golf ball. I'm a fan of sort of the separated eyelid that joins the face to the crown, rather than it being all one infinity crown, I think it's called in other clubs. I do like that. I absolutely adore how Callaway designed their faces. And I mean with how well it frames the golf ball when it's sitting in the middle. You've got all of the sort of chevron lines down the outside, and you've got a big sweet spot in the middle. And I really like how that looks behind the ball. But for me, the only downside to this club would be, and it is only personal preference, is I haven't seen a massive performance gain from what I saw when I tested the AI Smokes. It sounds better. You could argue it might feel a little bit better off of the face, but it's marginal. But the looks for me, I just think they've gone so many steps backwards rather than forwards. This just looks a little bit too dated for me with it copying the Big Bertha Epic. Just trying to fade up this fairway, last ball. Oh, baby little cut, low driller. If you've enjoyed this review, please do subscribe to the channel, leave a like. What do I think of the Callaway Elytes? I think they are very good. I don't think they are any worse than the AI Smokes. It's just very hard to tell if they are any better. And out of personal preference, I do think the AI Smoke was absolutely stunning, and I would have liked them to have kept on with that theme of looks in their driver. But it just seems to me that they've went a little bit more old school with the green design that we've seen in the Epic. Good clubs, go test them. We'll see you in the next video. Probably another driver review. There's a lot of them coming. See you soon.